Hello, in this video I'm going to go through question 32 on IMAT 2012. So for this question, we're given a table of the results of a school election. So these are our candidates, and these are the number of votes that each candidate received. And when these results were put into a pie chart, one of the numbers was read incorrectly, and we're told the angles that were calculated, and we want to know whose score was copied incorrectly. Okay, so what do we need to know when we're drawing a pie chart of the results? We'll need to know how many degrees represent each vote, right? So how can we work that out? Well, if we want to work out how many degrees corresponds to one vote, then we just divide the angle by the number of votes. So we need to work out which angle corresponds to which candidate, and then divide that angle by the number of votes that the candidate has. Now, that's easier said than done because most of our numbers are not very nice, except for Harold's. Now, Harold has exactly 100, and it's really easier to divide things by 100, right? So let's work out which angle corresponds to Harold, and then we can work out how many degrees correspond to a vote. So we can see that Harold has the second largest number of votes after Peter, so that should mean that his angle should be the second largest one, which is 90 degrees. Now, this of course assumes that Harold's score was calculated correctly. Let's just run with this assumption for now, and if we get some crazy answers when we try to work out other people's angles, then we'll know that this assumption was wrong and that Harold's was actually the incorrect score. But if we run with that assumption, then if 100 votes gives us 90 degrees, then one vote would just be 90 divided by 100, i.e. 0.9 degrees. So if we try and work out the proper angles for the other four candidates, so if we start with Peter, so Peter had 126 votes, then his angle would be 126 multiplied by 0.9. And you can calculate that however you like, so you can either say 0.9 is 1 minus 0.1, for example, or you could say split the 126 up into 120 and 6. That's probably how I'd do it, just because I find it easier to add than to subtract. But anyway, the answer that you get is 113.4, which is the largest angle that was calculated. So the highest number of votes corresponds to the correct largest angle. So it certainly seems like there was nothing wrong with how Peter's score was read. And the second highest score was Harold's, which we're assuming is correct. So let's go with the third highest, which was Alison's. So if we try Alison, she had 84 votes, so the angle would be 84 times 0.9, which we calculate to be 75.6. So the third highest number of votes also corresponds to the third highest angle, so it seems Alison's score was read correctly too. Let's try the next one, so that would be Kevin's. So Kevin had 72 votes, so his angle is 72 times 0.9, which gives us 64.8. And now we see that the fourth largest angle, or the second smallest angle, is 56.7, not 64.8. So that suggests that Kevin's score was the one that was read incorrectly. And just to double check, let's just try with Rachel's score anyway. So she got 63 votes. So her angle will be 63 times 0.9, which we can work out to be 56.7. So actually this 56.7 would belong to Rachel, which suggests that they somehow calculated Kevin's angle to be 24.3, which is very off. So the answer would be A, Kevin.